God bless us, everyone. Hello, Whovians, and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I review The Unquiet Dead, starring Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor. This is the 159th Doctor Who story. It was written by Mark Gatiss, and directed by Euros Lyn, and obviously produced by Phil Collinson and Russell T Davies. So, the basic plot of The Unquiet Dead is as follows. The dead are roaming the streets of Cardiff in 1869 when the Doctor and Rose arrive, just in time for Christmas. Teaming up with Charles Dickens, the TARDIS team encounter the Gelf, creatures sucked through the Cardiff Rift from the other end of the universe, their home lost. Surely inhabiting dead bodies is wrong though. Can both sides be helped, or are these gaseous creatures not to be trusted? So, The Unquiet Dead. I really love this episode. This is a very good Doctor Who episode, and the reason being is that it's scary. And that's what I love about it. It is just scary. It is chilling. These Gelth creatures are very clever in the sense of how they survive. They're made up of gas. They're almost very ghost-like, but there is a science behind their anatomy, which I think is very clever. But at the same time, this is a very dark, scary story to watch, and I think it's very chilling, and it's what Doctor Who should be. So I'd certainly appreciate that. The story is very good too. It's quite a simple narrative, but it works very well for what it is. The only thing I would say about the narrative is that, what is Gwyneth's connection to the Rift? I mean, somehow she has the ability to see into the future and through the Rift in time and space. Because there's a scene where she talks to Rose, and she recounts to Rose her adventures with the Doctor, which is very suspicious, and she makes the Doctor's cup of tea exactly how he likes it. So that's when the Doctor realises, okay, there's more to Gwyneth than meets the eye. I just don't think it was explained how exactly she was connected to the Rift, but whatever. It's a minor thing. I'll let it go. So the Gelf themselves are fantastic villains, and the fact that they deceived the Doctor after he took pity on them is interesting. Obviously, it shows that the Doctor is a moral person, and he is willing to give people a chance and reason with them, and how he just wanted to help them find a new home through the Rift, and that's what they were going to do, send them through the Rift to find somewhere else. But no, they decided to betray the Doctor and go into the bodies use the Rift to bring more Gelth in and inhabit the bodies of other people in Cardiff and kill them. The opening of the episode is very chilling when we see Mr. Sneed, who lives in the house, and another guy. They are inspecting a dead body, and then the Gelth in the body makes the body come to life and tries to strangle Mr. Sneed and the other guy. It's really quite chilling, actually, to watch. I also really like Christopher Eccleston in this one. I think he's very good. He's not doing as much humour in this one. I think he's much more serious, but I like him. He does have the odd one-liner here and there, but I like the way he plays the Doctor this time. He's, as the Doctor should be. The moment when he meets Charles Dickens is just perfect. When he's geeking out, he's like, Charles Dickens! The Charles Dickens! Oh, I love that. You know, and he's going on about all of his books and everything, and which ones he loves and he doesn't love. But when it comes down to the situation, he takes control, as the Doctor should do, which I think is great. It's also interesting to see Rose as well. Like, Billie Piper as Rose, she's very good. I think this is her best performance so far. I think it's interesting how Rose is slowly beginning to understand more about the concept of timelines and time travel, and she's constantly asking the Doctor questions about, oh, you know, but I could die here, so then I'll never have been born, you know, and the Doctor's like, well, time is not a straight line, you know, the future of the human race could just change like that. Rose begins to realise everything they do has an impact in the future, and it definitely adds more to the stakes, I think, for this one. It's a very intense sequence when the Doctor and company are discussing about what to do, and then they realise that they basically have to sacrifice Gwyneth because she is connected to the Rift, and in order to save everyone else, Gwyneth has to open the Rift so that the Gelf can go away. Rose is very dubious about this. She doesn't want Gwyneth to die. She doesn't want Gwyneth to give up. But obviously the doctors, tells her that, this is the only way. It's either this or that. It's either this or lose everyone else. So this episode certainly puts a lot of moral questions in the mix, which I really like, and it does somewhat affect the relationship with the Doctor and Rose. Although I think since the end of the world, they've come a long way, and they are much closer now. There's that lovely scene when they're trapped in the dungeon, and he's like, "I'm so glad I met you," and she takes his hand, and she goes, "Yeah, me too." And it's like, I've seen all these things, and now I'm going to die in a dungeon in Cardiff. Just quite funny. I also really like Simon Callow as Charles Dickens in this one. He's a very good actor, and he plays this part superbly. The irony of this is, I went to watch Simon Callow in a show in London. I think it was late 2019, so just before the pandemic. And me and my family, we went to see him perform a one-man show of A Christmas Carol, where he was recounting the story of A Christmas Carol himself. So that's the ironic thing. And then I realised afterwards that he played Charles Dickens in The Unquiet Dead, which was kind of ironic. I just thought I'd mention that, but that's fun. I think he's very good as Charles Dickens. And there's that funny moment when the Doctor meets him, and he's like, in what sense are you a fan? In what sense do you keep oneself cool? I think that's very funny when they have that conversation, how he just doesn't understand what the Doctor means when he says fan as in fanatic. And it is interesting how he was going to leave the Doctor and Rose to die, but then he actually changes his mind and decides, you know what, there is a way to save them if I turn all the gas off and everything. Climax of this story is thrilling when they turn all the gas off and the Gelth manage to, well, I guess they die, so to speak. The Doctor gives them a chance to go through the rift, but no, they die. And we actually see a very powerful ending in which Gwyneth sacrifices herself. I mean, technically she was already dead when she opened the rift, but the Doctor has a very tender moment when he gives her a kiss on the head and he's like, "Thank you." And he doesn't want to lose her, but obviously she gets out a match and she's about to light the place up because the room is filled with gas. She's going to die and the Gelth are going to die. So I think the ending is very emotionally powerful in that sense. I also love the soundtrack by Murray Gold this time. It's a very good soundtrack. The first few minutes of this story actually reminded me slightly of The Talons of Weng Chiang, the Tom Baker story, in which they go to a theatre and watch a magic show. In this, they go to a theatre and Charles Dickens is giving his read-along for his book or whatever, and then the Gelth appear, and that's quite a scary sequence when everybody is running terrified of the Gelth, and that's when the Doctor realises that they're gas creatures because they're going in and out of the lamps and the candles and everything. I just think the atmosphere of this is really quite scary, and I think it was a good story to tell so early in this new series of the show, and I think it had the right effect and it scared people. It's definitely probably one of the scariest of the series for me. It is a little bit talky, but actually the pacing is much better than The End of the World, which I really appreciate. And I also like the production design, the set of the house, and they really did make it look like old Cardiff, which I think is amazing. So overall, I really like The Unquiet Dead, and I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. It's not my favourite Christopher Eccleston story, but it's definitely one of them. It's up there. It's a really scary one. And I think they should have been very proud of this one. I also like the fact that they mentioned the bad wolf twist here, the two words, which become very important for the series story arc, which will culminate in the end of the series. But there's going to be hints, there's going to be little droplets and hints across the series to come towards that. But I like that they mention it here when Gwyneth mentions it. So yeah, that's my review of The Unquiet Dead. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this episode. Stay tuned next time when I review Aliens of London / World War III. Yes, it's going to be 2 episodes because it's a 2-part story. So yeah, the format works a little bit differently with the new series. It's loads of single 45-minute episodes, and then there's 3 2-parters usually in a series. So I will review Aliens of London, World War III together, and so on. You get the idea. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See you soon. Bye for now.